Greetings, cohorters, classmates, Professor Hemburn, and conference attendees. My name is Rodden Carrington, and this is the Semiotics of Graffiti. Graffiti is an Italian word meaning scribbles on a public wall in its plural form, but pronounced graffitio when used singularly. The word graffiti was rooted from the Greek term griffin, which is intended to communicate, write, draw, or scratch something for perception. Cueva de las Manos, located in Santa Cruz, Argentina, has the first fascinating ancient graffiti paintings dating from 13,000 to 9,000 BCE. Now, this artifact evolves from a orality culture before human beings was literate. They used ink on their palms to place it on the wall as some form of self-identification. Provenant graffiti was found in the Pompeii ruins in Italy in 1851. It is the remains of the city of Pompeii after the Mount Vesuvius volcanic eruption in 79, which turned the city into ashes. So this city was under ashes, and survivors or people that returned to the city used anthropomorphic figures as graffiti and as a sign of survival. During the French Revolutionary Wars, rebels and soldiers wrote graffiti on the houses and buildings to be noticed by survivors during the 18th and 19th centuries and the world wars against Nazis. However, modern day graffiti emerged in the Youth Development Center in Philadelphia through a 12-year-old boy named Darryl McCrae. McCrae earned his name Cornbread from the YDC cooks due to his annoying request of cornbread that his grandmother made him. So basically, he earned the name. The cooks started calling him Cornbread. He loved the nickname Cornbread that he got from the cooks. He began writing cornbread around the YDC and eventually started writing it around Philadelphia. And this is in 1965 when it emerged. In a parallel sequence, graffiti crews in New York City was writing graffiti, but one board kid stuck out. Tacky 183. The name Tacky came from Taki, which was a Greek alternative to his name, Demetrius. The number 183 came from his address on 183rd Street in Washington Heights. Now, if you follow me, graffiti first emerged in 13,000 BCE in the orality culture in Santa Cruz, Argentina. Then it was found in the Pompeii ruins where individuals drew anthropomorphic figures as a means of survival within the ruins. And that was in 1851. During the French Revolutionary Wars, graffiti was used by rebels and soldiers as they wrote messages on houses and buildings for civilians and survivors as a form of propaganda. And then made his way to Philadelphia in 1965 as a young kid, earned the name Cornbread and began writing his name Cornbread all over the Youth Development Center and eventually started writing around Philadelphia. In 1968, in New York, Tacky 183 stuck out. He was a bike messenger. His territory in the Upper East Side of Manhattan. His whole aim was to make sure his name was on every light post, hydrant, or canvas that was visible for perception. Let people know what was his name within a 40 block radius. Now, graffiti was linked to hip hop along with rap music and breakdancing in 1980. Graffiti, as it was emerging, art galleries was purchasing the contents, putting it in art galleries and selling it. The mayor stepped in like, this is illegal. They drawn up properties that, without permission, and y'all selling it, or y'all putting it in exhibits. So he deemed it illegal. And hip hop took it and used it for some sort of commercial method within the culture. And it eventually, migrated along with rap music and breakdancing, where individuals use all three of those as a recreational purpose to escape poverty in the ghettos of New York City. Right? Follow me? All right. 2020, let's bring you up to speed. As the world, witnessed a pandemic, a global pandemic, the coronavirus COVID-19, everybody, the whole world quarantined. Everybody kept their distance, wore masks, kept means of survival, stayed healthy, safety measures. But on May 25th, 2020, that was Memorial Day in the United States, a Caucasian officer named Derek Chauvin kneeled on an African American man's neck named George Floyd Jr. for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, while three other officers stood by along with bystanders while he was in police custody in the streets. Videos emerged and went viral over the holiday weekend. However, as the week emerged and people understand why this man passed away, how, it sparked outrage worldwide. However, on Saturday, May 30th, which was a third day of protest for the death of George Floyd Jr., I was sitting on my porch having a drink with my friend. I had my dog outside too. I was just, relaxing. I just finished my spring semester, starting my summer semester. I had a online residency to conquer within a week or two. So, I was outside on my step. New York City, we were still in phase two. People was talking about the protests walking by randomly. It wasn't, nothing too big. I just, and eventually, wrapped it up. I was getting tired. I went upstairs to go sleep with my dog. My friend went about his business. He went home. Like 5 minutes within, once I laid down, I started hearing a helicopter. I don't know how I went to sleep during that with that helicopter. I passed it. I already passed out. It woke me up like 3 times, but I was just so tired. I eventually woke up that night, woke my dog, and went outside. I seen a windshield, a few feet from my steps, streets blocked off, debris everywhere, people wandering in the streets, police in riot gear, and I knew I missed something. I definitely missed something the way it looked out there. It looked like the aftermath of a party, like a parade in the streets. But it was like glass and windshields and things all over the place. And as you can see from this video, this is the helicopter view. That's like only a few feet away. That's like a block That's actually in front of my mechanics um garage. One of my mechanics. Next block over. And I got to review some of the images that took place and what I missed. So be it. Hey. So from the public eye or plain eye view, anyone could perceive the acronyms of FTP, ACAB, BLM as there was continuous graffiti throughout Flatbush, also throughout Brooklyn. This situation, the protests or the graffiti influenced my study, Semiotics of Graffiti, where I proposed the research questions of one, what is the primary use and purpose of graffiti, along with the occurred changes preceding George Floyd Jr.'s death? Question two, what are the underlying meanings of FTP, ACAB, and BLM, and the messages they convey? I apply a rhetorical vision of ideological criticism to analyze graffiti. This rhetorical criticism is structured through the semiotics theory along with the methodologies of semantics, syntax, and pigment. Semantics in graffiti is a method of writing that enables the author to use symbols, signs, figures, and an interpretation of their native language to prescribe to viewers. Well, you see the example I provided. Um, it's a symbol, a sign, a creature, something. But that's what the author drew. But if it's used over time, that's their symbol. That's their sign. And graffiti, I guess, they're expressing something. It could be their emblem. Syntax are the principles associated with governing graffiti in one's traditional language, style of penmanship, and slang used as a reference to translate the message a wordsmith is communicating to receivers. Now, this example I provide to the far right, you see a symbol. It looks like a big C. Excuse me. That's a form of semantics. Now, the words, it says RIP, which is rest in peace, syntactics. That's syntactics right there. Rest in peace, Scooter, Zap, who? Always loved. That's a message. Pure syntactics of graffiti. The various styles, colors, designs, touches, and coatings used by a scribbler are the pigment within graffiti. Now, this example, see the various colors, design, there's stars, shapes, there's different widths of the lines. Everything about this pigment, I had to take some type of idea or thought to create this mural. I don't know, but honestly, like, these colors don't match, and the stars is random. But somehow, some way, this artist made it work. That's pigment. I just provided you with semantics, syntax, and pigment of graffiti. Follow me. Now we into acronyms. FTP, WOWS, proclaims the use of fuck to mean to strike. Therefore, FTP is a derogatory phrase meaning fuck the police, which is a statement invoking damage to law enforcement officials. To announce, write, or insinuate FTP signifies to strike the police, especially in an environment of protest. ACAB is a political slogan regarding the police system in general. It encourages an end to police brutality. It refers to the government policing their use of misconduct in the police force. The abbreviations of ACAB is an acronym meaning all coppers are bastards, where the B is originally abbreviated for the word bastards. It is bastards because all cops are not individually bad, but are bastards entirely. To be a bastard, one must be in a system that is corrupt. The law enforcement in the United States is designed to devalue and encourage violence upon people of color lawfully. This police system is bastardized because it does not serve its original purpose, function, and is lowered in quality. Now, all right, we're going to do our history on ASAP. I mean, not ASAP, excuse me, ACAB. ACAB was formed when the law enforcement agency was formed, the first one. The first law enforcement agency was formed in Britain by a guy named Robert Peels. They nicknamed him Bobby. He formed a police department in the city of London, which they call Bobbies. And they emerged, ACAB emerged when the Bobbies emerged. However, the first law enforcement agency in the United States emerged in Boston in 1838. The Bobbies emerged in 1829. In 1838, the Boston police officers or the Boston law enforcement officials emerged to man the Boston ports of imports that was coming into the country. However, it evolved. The law enforcement agency evolved all around the country to where their job was to protect Caucasian people from people of color and to capture escaped slaves and return them to their rightful owners. BLM, Black Lives Matter, is a social movement established in 2013 following the acquittal of Trayvon Martin's murderer, George Zimmerman. Following Ben Carson's presidential campaign, BLM became a common household phrase that individuals around the world use in reference to oppression of black folks. This slogan is used in times of need to support those in racial situations and protests. Now, hope you're following me. I provide you with FTP, the acronym of FTP, ACAB, which which emerged when the Bobbies was created in 1829, followed by the Boston Police in 1838. Now, BLM, which was established in 2013. Subsequent to George Floyd's death, in mainstream media, ACAB has been using hashtags on social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. There have been huge protests in Minneapolis, Minnesota, Memphis, Tennessee, Los Angeles, California, and New York City. Of course, I just showed you the pictures. Also, Black Lives Matters organized and designed murals to be placed in the streets of various locations in New York City, as well as around the country. Now, officials of Black Lives Matter got together and met with the Department of Transportation and professional muralists to design these murals to be painted in streets with street paint for aerial view in different locations around the country. Murals near Foley Square, Trump Towers, the White House, 125th Street in Harlem, and Filter Street in Bedford-Stuyvesant, along with other murals in cities like Cincinnati, Ohio, Jackson, Michigan, and Portland, Oregon emerged as volunteers from local organizations assist in making these murals appear. And that concludes my presentation. I hope you was following me. I gave you the history of graffiti, how it emerged from orality culture to modern day culture where we are literate individuals. I also provide y'all with the characteristics of graffiti, which makes this art form so unique through the semiotics theory. I also provide y'all with information of the acronyms FTP, ACAB, and BLM, their meanings, where they emerge from, the origins. If you have any inquiries, my contact is available. Please reach out. Have any suggestions? Please reach out. I hope you read my paper. It has in-depth, information. Hope you like my poster presentation. You know, I try to get some information on it, but you can only put so much because it'd be too small for anybody to read. Once again, my name is Yarada Carrington, and this is Semiotics of Graffiti, another installment of Lifestyle Trends, which is a dissertation in progress. Stay blessed, stay safe as we get out this pandemic. Later.